Protecting?
I'm still your neighbor.
Yeah, 410,000 people voted PNP in the last election. So
400
a party with
401, some change.
401. So the legacy of PJ, you have said, not very impressive, if not poor. But the PNP retains very strong support in Jamaica, to the point where 28 seats, a gain of 14, 401,000 people still put their ex beside the head. Why?
And that effort is causing them some headache to the neighbor. And I don't think that they can repeat this this success that they have come upon. Yes, an election was held.
But with such a sordid pass, you would have thought that support would have fallen off. But that's strong support. That's strong electoral political
neighbor,
support.
there is support and there is support, neighbor. And
well,
yes, the election is done. The people voted, right? The votes were placed in the boxes and the votes were counted. But I remember sharing before that from a certain analysis that was done, and a certain conclusion that was made, the target was to motivate by a certain means about 175,000 Jamaicans to vote PNP. Now, long before the election, it was believed that the PNP's base has dwindled to about 325,000, while the JLP's base continues to grow. Now, the PNP went into the election knowing this, and the strategy was, while there was a general election happening, simultaneously, there was a by-election, pun intended. Now, so I would not read too much into the 401,000 people that, or almost 402,000 people that the PNP continue to repeat. I mean, let us examine this, neighbor. There is something mysterious about the continued mentioning of 402,000 people voting for the PNP. There's no PNP leader who have ever numbered out the amount of votes that they got before. There is something mysterious about it, and I believe the mystery is embedded in the fact that simultaneously there was a by-election, and they thought that they had enough resources to have run that by-election to have garnered enough votes to make them government. And so,
but I want to be fair, though, Protect. Money in elections are not necessarily one-sided.
No, neighbor, and I did not say anything about, well, on the neighbor, I don't want you to misquote me either. I never mentioned anything about money. So I don't want you to misquote me.
What you say by election?
Yes, man. Yeah. So we're not by elections in Jamaica. We're by elections in Jamaica.
Yeah. So there were two elections.
Right. There were two elections, and yes, neighbor, because we have been discussing.
You're very clever. But the point is protecting 401,000 Jamaicans who, whether they were participating in a by-election or a by-BUI election, identify with the party. And I want you to tell me, because I am sure that those persons could have, chosen.
That is the problem that they now face. That is the problem that they now face, neighbor. So when you are coerced or motivated by some means to support something that you wouldn't normally be inclined to supporting, after you have supported that thing the one time, which was the election on the 3rd of September, going forward for another 4 or 5 years, it is not going to be 402,000 people supporting the PNP.
No, you don't think
the
so?
The support now goes back to its grassroots supporters, which is about 325,000. Now,
what you saying to me?
In a modern society, in order for you to stay politically viable and competitive in a modern society, you have to bring to the table somewhat of a coalition message, because the middle is getting bigger and bigger, while the support at both ends either remains stagnant or is declining. On the PMP's on the PMP side, it is declining. On the government side, it is somewhat growing, because it used to be the JLP with about 300 and something thousand people support. Now, money, since you mentioned money, is important to any organization, neighbor. Because right now, neighbor, in order to continue this kind of programming that brings value to the people, these kind of discussions that make sense. We're not talking about under Andrew, under Juliet, and Fufa knows big and something. We're having substantial conversation.
And Bigfoot.
Right, and Fufa big. So in order to
start talking about other big things, sir.
In order to maintain this kind of programming, neighbor, it costs something. It costs you to get the people who run the tech to get the program going. It costs you to do the research. It costs you even put the whole production together. So when you come here and you say, and at this juncture, I'll remind the people, guys, tap up the screen, send the gifts, and remember to contribute using the Cash App and the other stuff. They will give you the information, the Zelle account and all that. Please remember, if it's even
that's very important.
People.
It's very, very important, sir. Very important.
Right. If it's even $1, send it. Every mickle make a muckle and it will add up at this juncture. So money has its place in politics. But to do what? I am sure the JLP had to spend money on election day. I used to be a part of elections. Even in America, I've participated in elections. You need money, tons of money to neighbor on voting day to mobilize your voters. People are going to need lunch. Some people travel from afar. They might take Uber. You have to give them back money. Some money will exchange
transportation and all of that.
Yes. So I know that money is needed. But when you go all out with a few friends of the PMP who contributed to the tune of billions of dollars to make sure that they secure the victory so that they now can come back to control the developments and the progress that are happening in Jamaica. When you have that kind of failed neighbor, the PMP have been having headaches. Me as a Mark Golding drop down on election night. And them have to wait till he revive before he can face the people outside 89 all up road. Him drop down. So when you have that kind of scenario, the PMP have a big headache, neighbor, because guess what? There's no way they're going to be able to attract that level of financing that came to them before the last election to run the election. And we have a local government coming up that is going to take out of their resources again. And then to keep them active, viable, and effective for the next 4 years, it's going to be difficult because they have a dwindling base, and already most PMP are some old people. Some of them will know not going to survive till 2030. So the base even going to dwindle some more, even though we can rely on Mark Golding to take the platform again and beg for the dead people them raise up and come vote. But that is just not going to happen. And the only way the PMP regains some semblance of relevance in the Jamaican landscape is if they begin the transformation of themselves. Now, you're tying what you see happening now, neighbor, and you kind of put a mirror on it and kind of create a reflection back to the 1990s. And then now we're touching PJ again. because of the PMP's wretched past, it costed them almost $10 billion, and it is costing them a whole lot of effort now to convince the people of Jamaica that they are ready to lead Jamaica again. It is a big ask if we are to ask them to really put something sensible forward. Because again, the PMP fighting many battles on different fronts, So them now have no time to settle down to focus on any one area. It has been an uphill task since 2016 for the PMP. And the truth is, the next election is not going to have Mark Golding at the helm of the PMP.
Yes.
So that's another reality again.
Joshua, even as we reflect on PJ Patterson's legacy, though he has not been prime minister for how many years, it would be fair to say that his time in government is why Jamaica, even today, is not more advanced, that there is still a corrective work that is taking place. Would that be correct?
This is accurate, sir. We have a saying wherein we say election have consequences, but we didn't just say it because of the day itself. We say it because when you elect the wrong person to lead your country, the country is going to end up in the wrong direction, right? And that is what we experienced under PJ Patterson in every sector. We saw the depletion of the police force to the point that we didn't have vehicles to go to crime scenes. We saw where police, Mark, the gentleman from England, what's his name, protecting? The police officer from England.
Mark
Shields stated that when PJ was here, he didn't use the term PJ, but Peter Phillips was Minister of National Security at the time. He saw police officers going to crime scene to take up evidence and put in paper bag. And that is not what should have been happening, right? And that we didn't have the proper things. And the interview is on YouTube. Anybody can go there and watch it, the interview with Mark Shields, right? And we saw these things becoming rampant, right? Jamaica was not trusted on the international scene. We saw for the first time in Jamaica that CEDA, Caribbean International Development Agency, stopped giving aid to Jamaica because the government of the day could not tell what they were doing with the aid. And as a result of that, CEDA stopped giving aid. We saw under PJ Patterson where public sector wages stuck and couldn't move. We also saw gas riots, first time in the history of Jamaica. We saw where minimum wage could not move either. But we saw the movement of politicians' salary continuously. And people like Mark Golding kept quiet at the time, but now all of a sudden he has a conscience that, as it relates to the Prime Minister, but when it comes to his own salary, he doesn't have a conscience. Under PJ Patterson, everything that could have gone wrong and shouldn't have gone wrong went wrong. And this is not being political, folks. For those of you listening to me, the information is there. By the way, let me tell you something, guys. For those who are using Gleaner as a source of information, if you find any information, download it immediately. Do not wait. What Gleaner has been doing was anything that implicates the PNP, be it under Michael Manley, under PJ Patterson, or Portia. What they do, they delete it, and anything that praises the Jamaica government, the Jamaica Labour Party government, they delete it also. So anything you find, any historical piece on Jamaica in terms of governmental performance, be it JLP or PNP, take it down immediately, download it and keep it, because they have been erasing it, including information regarding Hugh Lawson Shearer. That's how far back they are going.
Yeah. Here's my final question to you both. Beginning with you, Joshua. If you should do a comparative analysis, maybe a minor SWOT analysis, what would you say would be the strength? Let's take it with you, Joshua. Let's go. Let's start with the strength. What were PJ's strengths?
PJ Patterson's strength is his ability to remain calm under pressure. Right? No matter what pressure is brought to bear to him, no matter how the calls got louder for and they were against him, he seemed to always be able to maintain that sense of calm demeanor. And even when negatives were being said about him, he would not utter foolishness like this white man that we have leading the party right now.
Okay,
right.
we're doing a on the spot SWOT analysis of PJ Patterson, starting strength, weakness, opportunities, threat. What were his weaknesses?
His inability to manage the economy. That was his major weakness. And the opportunities that existed is that under PJ Patterson, the rest of the world was booming, but he never capitalized on it. Those were the opportunities. And when I said booming, for those who don't understand, the world's economy at that time was growing, and Jamaica was the only place in the world that wasn't growing. In fact, we were experiencing the exact opposite. Under PJ Patterson, we had zero growth. We had the greatest period of inflation, the greatest period of debt, the greatest period of poverty. All of these things, right? All of the macro indicators were going in the wrong direction under PJ Patterson, right? And the threats that existed is the wanton corruption that was under him. And not only was, as the leader, not taking steps to correct those, but almost sanctioning it. That was a threat to Jamaica's democracy and the survival of the rest of Jamaica. And in addition to that, how Jamaica lost its respect on the international scene. You remember Shanique Myrie in Barbados?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Right. That's how the rest of the world viewed us. That the cavity search a Jamaican in an airport. A female Jamaican was cavity search. And for those who don't understand what cavity is, it is the female parts, body part, inside of her was searched in an airport. That's what happened under PJ Patterson, because the rest of the world did not trust us. And so every Jamaican was seen as a criminal. Right? Under PJ Patterson, we sold that gate in England. You remember that Heathrow Airport?
Yes, sir. Air Jamaica was flying around there, couldn't land.
Right. And we sold Heathrow Airport, so we no longer had our own gate because we had nowhere to land. Right?
Yes,
and this
sir.
is
calls were being placed to the Prime Minister.
Right.
The Prime Minister had to be calling the airport to get Jamaica to land. Now to pay the money too.
Yeah. And this was the kind of existential threat that took place under PJ Patterson. Crime being wantonly out of hand. People did not feel safe. I grew up in Kingston 19. Marlene, who is on the app, grew up in Kingston 19 also. And we can tell you, many nights I've told this story jokingly, even though you have known me so long, I don't think I've ever told you. I used to sleep in my shoes in my bed and in my clothes with my door open. Believe it or not, I slept in my clothes and shoes with my door open. So the door was pushed up, but it was open. Because just in case things get rough in the night, you have to bail out immediately and not be looking for anything. Under PJ Patterson, all of that took place.
Yeah.
That's the threat, an existential threat to Jamaica. Financial, our safety was compromised.
You are saying that the dignity of Jamaicans violated at an airport, And that was as a result of how the world saw us.
How the rest of the world saw us, right?
Very true, neighbor.
Oh my God.
The Barbadian, Trinidadian, and the other nationals, they said it. Notice the difference now, neighbor. Since 2016, you ever hear no incident with no Jamaican traveling to anywhere in the Caribbean?
No, sir.
Okay. Why?
In fact, protecting, I'm going to take it further since you raised that point. Now everyone wants to be Jamaican. Right?
Every man want a Jamaican girl. And every woman want a Jamaican man nowadays.
There are so many videos being done all over the world now, from as far as Africa to the rest of the Caribbean. Right? And as you know, I live in North America. And everybody who finds out that I'm a Jamaica want to know about Jamaica. And in fact, I don't know if you saw the stats, neighbor, that came out earlier this week. The amount of persons returning to live in Jamaica. Under PJ Patterson, people were leaving in droves. Nobody wanted to come back home. And now we're seeing in the last year alone, we had nearly 1,000 persons returning. The year before was the same thing. The year before that was 700 and odd.
To back that up, Joshua, I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. Our ambassador to Washington, Mr. Anderson, just completed a ceremony admitting Jamaicans to Jamaican citizenship. You know who these Jamaicans are? These are children who are born to Jamaican parents but have not gotten their Jamaican citizenship. Or they are third generation Jamaicans who born here, live here, only know about here. They are now applying for their Jamaican citizenship. And they were granted citizenship. I think it was 42 of them.
In fact, I'm going to give you a story to back that up, protecting. I spoke to a Jamaican who left here from she was 14. She's now 60 years old. And for the first time in the history of Jamaica, she planned to return to Jamaica to live. She told me that 2 days ago. So 46 years ago, she left Jamaica. And she never thought of living back in Jamaica before. But suddenly she wants to return home. And the story is numerous. In fact, a number of Americans want to leave America and go to Jamaica to live, and have been inquiring about Jamaica. So
there are a few there now.
Right.
So between the period of COVID to the time that Jamaica recovered from COVID, about within a 3-year span, the highest numbers of citizenship were granted. And when you look at the mixed bag at Pika swearing in, half of the bag, I mean, one of the numbers I see was 300 and odd at one time. Half of the group where you see a be white people applying for their Jamaican citizenship.
Well,
you have people from Norway, Germany, all about America, Canada, white people settling in Jamaica. There's a German right now up in some bush somewhere in Jamaica. I saw her on Instagram. She building a mansion on the hillside. And she says since she reached Jamaica, she don't have to take none of her medication, and she used to have to take almost 2 dozen medication for some sickness. And since she eating Jamaican food, she don't have to take the medication there again. And that's where she's living.
Yeah. All right, guys. Fantastic. Great information as usual. Appreciate the show tonight. Take care of yourselves. Thank you both very much.
God bless you, sir, and it's a pleasure being here. I see Dimple. Dimple, good night.
Respect. Yes, sir.
Respect, hey, Joshua. Guys, remember the Zelle number. See it there in the chat. The Zelle number for the contribution. And I don't know about the Cash App. Somebody have to give the information on the Cash App. But the Zelle number is 954-635-8732. Again, Zelle 954-635-8732. And what you're doing, you're not mind nobody over here, so you're contributing to are you hearing me? You're contributing to the program, because somewhere between the research and the production for the program and off the airing of the program, it costs. There are technical people in the background working. They have to be paid, and it supports the program as it continues. So the Cash App, the Zelle, you will see the information. I think for Cash App, it says $ Caroline Perrier. And then you can send your little $1, your $1, your $2. That's so. If you don't have a whole lot, just send what you have, and it will go a far way. Good night. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Great. All right, let's see if we can talk to Dimple a little bit. Thanks for telling the neighbor rights for me. Daphne saying that. Yeah, neighbor rights. Yes, Joshua.
Before I jump off.
Yes.
Before I jump off, Protecting have always encouraged persons to buy land from now. You know, because of the demand of the third and second generation Jamaicans that are coming home for the first time. And those first generation who had thrown a stone behind them and decided them not return. So because of the demand, and also foreigners who have never been to Jamaica, some have never lived here, but they visited here, decide that they want to purchase land and homes in Jamaica. And so it's driving up the demand, the cost of land. And as a result of that, I'm encouraging Jamaicans, if it's even take out a little loan and buy land, try and do it. You know, because after this, we cannot afford land. God bless all of you. Peace be unto you, neighbor.
All right, Joshua. Yeah, man. All right, great. Catch you Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Yes. And fantastic.